What's up, y'all? So,
Hey guys.
back here with the doctor. What's up,
What's
man? Welcome back. So today we are gonna be talking about like the stigma of collecting or just being a geek, a nerd in today's society,
Yeah.
which you would think with kind of like how much nerd culture has become mainstream that there would no longer be any stigma, but there still is.
Yeah.
It's just the way the world works. I could cite many other non-nerd related things that shouldn't have stigma in today's society, but still do, like stay-at-home parents. Stuff like that. But that's not what this is about. So what for you inspired like bringing this topic up?
It's just about that's how our society kind of is now. Heck, I remember adolescence as teenager going through. A lot of kids are just still trying to find themselves. It's an identity thing, right? And then when you're doing something like that, you feel like you're getting judged, right? And you're collecting this stuff. But I don't know. I'm getting older. I don't care what anybody thinks. I know what I'm about. So
Yeah, you know what? What's funny about that is that's almost a separate topic, but for the sake of like just the topic, at different places in life, the stigma varies. Like the I want to say like the level of the stigma, and also like the way it affects you.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know like for like kids today, like grade school or even elementary school, middle school kids, like if they're like geeks or nerds, are they getting picked on?
Right. They're still getting bullied, of course.
Yeah, getting bullied,
Now
because the cool kids are, it's not cool. But again, it's like you would think, at least for me, from my perspective of the world and my journey and geek life and collecting at this point, you would think that, it's just accepted and it's even cool because really, like think about it, geek culture has come a long way. It is definitely mainstream compared to, I don't know, maybe like a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
It really was like the what year did that movie come out? The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
That's been a couple of years now.
Yeah, it's been at least probably about a decade or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you would think that at this point, like nerd culture, geek culture, or even just like toy collecting culture would be at the point where society just accepts it, and there's even a lot of people who, and I'm not talking about a lot of people who like other fellow toy collectors, but a lot of people who aren't collectors, but they understand and respect it. But then
You got the ones that are not collectors. They still they judge it. They're like they kind of they I don't know. They find it embarrassing, right? Because they don't collect stuff.
yeah.
But they might not collect like toys or action figures or collectibles. But someone always collects something, right?
Which sucks. It's like if it's one thing if there is society at large, but then when it comes down to that, it's like who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
They're not your friends, your family. But then what sucks is if it is your friends or your family who not only don't understand your collecting, because I can accept that. I can accept when they don't understand it, but when they look at it as a bad thing, like they think one of the most common ones is like, aren't you too old to be playing with toys? Or those dolls. They're action figures, not dolls.
Right.
And that's horrible. That's kind of me giving into that stigma. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you hear that stigma all the time. It's like you have to defend. It's like they're not dolls; they're action figures.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Even if your thing is dolls, because we live in a day and age where it's like, what's wrong if what you collect is dolls? And I'm not talking about just grown-up females. There are grown-up dudes who are doll collectors. If you know me well enough, I actually have a small collection of Barbies and other like dolls, actual dolls. I get that a lot of people will mistake or mislabel things like action figures, dolls, or even like for the people who collect 1/6 scale figures. These are 12-inch figures. Ignorant people aren't going to tell the difference. They're the same size as fashion dolls, and they have real clothes that you can take off and interchange and stuff. So you gotta realize there will be some ignorant people who are going to mistake them as dolls. They probably don't even. Not everyone even means anything bad about it. They just don't understand the difference. But yeah, action figures. It's also very understandable when an action figure collector would take offense to their beloved action figures and toys being called dolls, because
or any of that stuff, because it's a lot of that stuff that they're collecting, it's value and joy to them, and it's just like for somebody else to just judge it and put it off to the side, just negate it hurts, because it's like, man, it's at the same time you're judging it, but you're judging me, because it's like it's got my personality in there, it's got my identity and why I collect stuff. Like I brought these examples, like a big thing for me and my family. We're from California. We grew up watching the Niners. I used to watch that with my brother, and we just and my cousins, and I just always liked the 49ers. When Fraulein came out with some lines, I got the Joe Montana one, and this is actually a perfect one. It's like a rendition of him in one of the Super Bowls. He throws that winning touchdown, and he just puts his hands up in there, and for me, I can look at that and it resonates with me. And there might be other toys or collectibles you guys do the same thing with, right? You look at it and you think of the time. I understand it's a physical item. The memories are always going to be with us. So if we don't have the item, you discard it or whatever, right? We always have those memories in us. Silver Surfer's big for me because I don't know, like it's the type of character. He starts off as a villain, but he ends up becoming a hero. And he's just trying to do right by Galactus because he has to find those planets for him to take over, to destroy. And he in turn, it's I'll serve, I'll help you, just don't destroy my planet and don't kill my loved ones, don't kill my lady, And then of course, Rocksteady and Bebop. I mean, there's enough said. That's like those two guys. Those are like some of the top villains in the '80s for me.
Yeah. And plus they're little loyal subjects. I love how you brought little loyal subjects as examples. Speaking of Silver Surfer, though, Lawrence Fishburne, best. Hashtag sarcasm.
We don't talk about it.
So you know what? I want to share a little personal take on the whole, stigma. I'm really one of those people who, I really, how do you say, what's that? Was like I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't think that really applies. I show my geek pride. You guys know me, graphic tees all day, different. I got it. And we were just talking about earlier. In my closet, man, my stacks of graphic tees, and I pull out my wallet. You're gonna see Suicide Squad on there. My keys, also Suicide Squad. My car, I've got Harley Quinn stickers on the side windows, Harley Quinn Batman logos. I got a Wonder Woman sticker on the front. So I show off my geek pride any way I can, and I get it though, for those who aren't that way. It's because of the world. It's because of that stigma that exists, and I mean, there might be some people who it's just not their thing, showing it off. But I think for a lot of people who don't show it off, who keep it a little more to themselves and just to like maybe on the internet and social media where they can, where they have like-minded people they can relate to. It's understandable that they kind of would not show it off because of like the way the rest of the outside world is to them, thinking, they're nerds and stuff that,
That's a shame. I mean, but at the same time, man, if you guys ever do decide you want to, just do it.
Yeah.
Just embrace it, man.
Who cares what people think? On the one hand, but on the other hand, and I think I mentioned it before, one of my favorite things is I'm wearing one of my tees on any given day, and someone's gonna be like, hey, cool shirt, or hey, and just spark conversation based on whatever I'm showing off. And I'll do the same when I see somebody's wearing like something that like I'm a fan of or something. I'll strike up conversation, and that's a great way to start conversation with fellow geeks.
Yeah.
100% strangers that you would not have known was a geek otherwise if you weren't wearing something and they didn't see that they had something to relate to.
It's kind of like common ground. You find common ground with somebody.
Exactly.
Graphic to you like that. Hey man, cool T-shirt with the Ninja Turtles or whatever. And
Yeah.
What was your favorite brother? And then you just start talking. You start chopping it up with that.
Exactly. Exactly.
What else was I gonna bring up? So like for me now, like if somebody comes into my apartment, I mean I don't know if any of you guys are like that before. You're trying to hide stuff or leave it all out, straight up. And the reason why I say that is because the whole stigma and judgment, right? If somebody comes over that's supposedly your friend, you get to find out truly if they're your friend genuinely, because they're either going to judge you or they're going to be like, oh, this is really cool, man. They're going to embrace it as you, right? They're going to support you. And if they do hit you with the judgment, then you can, it's up to you if you want to call them out and be like, hey, man, just so you know, man, you're kind of judging me right now. And then maybe that's a piece you guys can talk about, and you go from there.
And also, I want to personally say, like, if it depends on how passionate you are. Like, this stuff is my life. Like, this stuff, and you're seeing, you guys, I should have pointed out in the beginning, you guys are seeing the other side, slightly the other side of the room here. Thought I'd mix it up a bit. And I don't think I've actually ever showed those. I changed. I had these plaques before, as wooden plaques with like Wonder Woman, Ninja Turtles, and like Venom, Spider-Man and Venom. I threw some old, I had those, what do you call those? Like those, scrolls, those anime scrolls. Okay, I've had those like, oh man, like I want to say almost like 20 years. Those were from way back in the day. Decided to throw those back up. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was gonna say, depending on how passionate you are about that stuff, it's almost like, what are you doing with friends who don't actually share your passion? I'm not judging anybody, but I'm really the type. And not that I don't have friends from all different aspects, but it's almost like all the friends and like people who I consider family that aren't actually family are people that are still connected to some important aspect of my life. Like, I don't really have friends that are just friends just to be friends, Mm-hmm. And like majority of like my bros, it's because we relate. We're geeks. Mm-hmm. I don't really have any people that are like the bros that aren't geeks. It's like, what's the point? I can't just hang out with somebody that doesn't relate on geek stuff.
So it's good to have friends that are on that common ground. Like we're into this. We're into the same kind of things like this stuff, right? Collectibles, toys, posters, just artwork, comics, all that stuff. We can relate to that. It's good to have them around you because they understand, right? They understand you, but. Just be careful because you have those ones that are you're enablers for each other, so you're gonna keep feeding the things. So just kind of like, just be mindful for that. Right?
Our fellow hoarders. I mean, because let's face it, again, going back to the original topic, where as collectors we're all hoarders anyway, and if you're trying to quit it or really work on your hoarding, it's tough when you have friends who.
Find the friends that you are on the common ground where you're not trying to like outdo each other. You're not envious of like, oh, he got that figure. You should be like, oh man, that's an awesome figure. Yeah. The next time at your place, we can talk about that, and we can both have joy about that, right? Because of the conversation we're gonna have on that.
But that's not good anyway. Just especially if they're your friend. It's one thing. I mean, you shouldn't be like that anyway in the world of collecting. Like envious of people are competing. Like, oh, you're trying to be better than this or that collector. That's kind of lame. I gotta, I sorry if anyone relates to that, but I'm just saying, it's kind of lame. If you're out there competing, like just collect what you want to collect. For the joy of it. Don't do it because you're trying to compete or be better than this or that collector.
Or if you're that type of boy like I am, like, hey Mark, you should send me that figure? Hey, I'm over here. You want it? I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
But just remember, if there's, I think Dan Larson says it all the time, and I put it in that YouTube video on the thread. If there's two on the peg, grab one, leave another one up there for the next collector.
Yeah.
It makes it easier for all of us, man.
No, that's definitely a good way, you know. But yeah. I think you were mentioning something about like the stigma, although being different for like female collectors, for example.
Yeah, so because me and Kelly were talking about that. Like we were kind of messaging about that earlier today, and I was like, okay, cool, because we're all guys. I need a a woman's point of view, and she said it perfectly.
Kelly, by the way, you know, you come in and join us.
But she said basically that women, it wouldn't be perceived so bad. Like it would be cool because they're collectors or whatever. Because they're not going to go as hard or as bold or big like us dudes. We're just go all out, right? That she could, they could invite a guy over and not have any issues with that. Whereas a guy for guys like us, we invited a girl over, they're gonna be like,
well, a girl who's not a nerd and who doesn't really understand it, she's like, what? What is all this stuff?
She could be nerdy, but she's not like on our level. Sometimes we're on a completely different level because we're collecting, we're building up collections of stuff. And they could come in and be like, okay, did this guy not grow up?
Yeah. Right? Whereas if it's a girl, and say the guy she brings over is at least a nerd, he'd be like impressed as hell. Right. Like, what? Right. Yeah. You're a chick and you are into all of this, or you have like this much stuff. I would imagine though there could be also some girls who are nerd chicks. And maybe they get involved with dudes who like aren't nerdy at all, and then they're still in that side of the world that really doesn't understand at all, and they might actually still think it's weird. Yeah. Which what happens there? Like, does a dude like say let's just say hypothetically, dude's just trying to get in this chick's pants. Yeah. Right? Is he gonna let that slide? He'd be like, who cares? I don't care if this chick is weird. She's weird. I don't understand this, but I'm still trying to get up in it. Or is it gonna be like, yeah, that's just weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
And then I mean, for the female and for the girl that if that's happening to him, just remember that how that dude ends up coming in your place. If he's judging you, like that should be like red flag. Like,
exactly. Like, again,
this needs. Hit the door.
If you're passionate about that stuff, again, it depends on how passionate you are, but you know me, no toys, no lie. But if you are, like, say you are a diehard nerd chick, like, why would you get involved with somebody who doesn't at least understand? Doesn't necessarily need to be into it like you, but at least understand. Because I mean, you can't be with someone who really just does not understand what you're into.
It's gonna be a tough, uphill battle the whole way if you're trying to do that.
That's just not gonna be fun at all. But then going back to like when it's family, I remember. So thankfully, I had parents, and I've mentioned it before when I was a kid, they actually spoiled me. They didn't spoil me throughout all my entire childhood, but up to a certain point they spoiled me. So I had a ton of stuff, like all the toys I wanted. Not everything, but most of the toys I wanted. They gave me a lot. They did stop spoiling me at some point, but the thing is, even as I got older into adulthood, I want to say I don't think my parents fully understood my passion for toys, but they never really gave me a problem about it. Like, they never thought it was, well, I don't know if they thought it was weird, but, they never really brought it up as an issue with me. But I always remember, I don't know how old I was. I want to say maybe around 11 or 12. I had this cousin who was visiting from Hawaii, and she had actually stayed with us before when I was even younger. But so she was visiting, and on this particular day, I guess I wanted to go to Toys R Us, and my parents were asking her if she can bring me. And I always remember this. Again, I don't know, it was around 11 or 12. It's funny because here I am, 42 years old. I remember she said something like, aren't you getting too old? Or aren't you too old for toys? And I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, no. And it's like, but that was only at like 11 or 12. Imagine me this many years later. There's no such thing as too old for toys. If it's what you're into, it's what you're into.
Could be, ages 3 and up to 85.
Until you die. Like, can you imagine? Like, it makes me think sometimes. Like, what's the oldest geek you've seen? Like, we know a lot of adult collectors, and I've seen like people into their 60s or so. I don't know how many people I've personally seen like much older than that. People who grew up as geeks and really carried it on till late in life. That makes me wonder, because I wonder, for us and people we know, myself, this is my life. I'm like, is it really gonna stick? Like, will there really ever come a point where not necessarily I outgrow it, but maybe, like late in life, if I live that long, knock on wood, this isn't even wood, but if I live that long, like maybe, I don't know, like maybe something will change eventually, like priorities in life. Maybe, who knows, if I live that long and I have grandkids already, will I not really care for collecting anymore? Maybe I'll still be into stuff, but maybe I'll be over collecting. I don't know. That's just.
We can't tell you.
That's
tell
just.
The future, right?
Yeah.
Each day, take each day, right? As a collector.
It just makes me wonder, because we're talking about it, and people who really, if you're really passionate about it, like, is it something that as much as there's that stigma, is it something that really sticks with you forever? So I don't know. Who knows?
And still collecting, the 3 main questions is like to ask yourself every time you're looking at it is like, is it still, are you still happy doing it? There's the other 2 that I just remember now. Let's see. Are you living within your means? Right? Because that's something we talk about, the enablers. You have too many other friends that are enabling you. You're just gonna start, you're gonna run out of space and you're gonna run out of money, right?
Not to get too much into that topic again on during this topic, but it's like really, collect the hell out of whatever you want to collect, but you gotta live within your means. It's gotta always be at a point where, as long as you like your health and your well-being, and your ability to take care of anyone that's under your care. That all that stuff has to come first. Yeah.
And then the other question was just, you kind of touched on your health. Is your health good? Your good health.
Yeah. That stuff's gotta come first. So yeah. I forgot there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, real quick before, in case it slips my mind later, just a reminder, we got, if you haven't seen that last video yet, or if you saw that video from Friday, Jason, kind enough to put up that G1 Optimus Prime reissue for giveaway, and it's simple enough. The comment on that video in the comments, your suggestions for topics for us to talk about, best one wins. It's that simple, and we're ending that this Friday. So I don't know exactly what time. So he's gonna come over. We're gonna go over the comments, and we'll shoot a video. We'll choose the winner. So really, I do want to say I appreciate everyone so far that's commented. There's some great suggestions there. In fact, a lot of them I wanted to go ahead and tackle already, but I'm like, wait, now that's gonna kind of reveal people that didn't win. So I am looking forward to covering those pretty much all those topics eventually.
Yeah.
But for now, giveaways going on. So go ahead and if you haven't already, comment your suggestion for a topic for us to talk about, something you'd like to hear us talk about with you guys.
Just get those comments in. That's it.
Yeah. It's easy enough, and again, it comes down to, because we're doing this, we're having fun. We're having fun doing this, and I'm hoping you guys are enjoying. We're taking time out of our days here you know, to sit here and talk with you guys. I mean, you know, on the one hand, it's just fun. We're enjoying it, but at the same time, we're always trying to talk about stuff that you can relate to.
It helps me too. I'm trying to expand knowledge. You know, and I have downtime at work. I'm journaling, and then I'm actually doing stuff with our little podcast. I take little notes here and there. I get cues from other collectors that are in the community, just all around.
Yeah, and you know, even for friends who are either friends of yours on Facebook sending you messages or comments. And even, you know, some of my friends are sending me like comments, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or through text. So, you know, not everybody's, you know, commenting on the videos, but I guess you guys are watching. And it seems like, you know, there's good interest there. So, you know, yeah. And really appreciate it. Keep, you know, there's definitely plenty more to come. You know, this is something, you know, like I started with doing the question of the day videos, and then eventually we got together and we started doing this. We brought somebody else on once, and that's something we're going to do any chance we get that someone has a chance to join us. We'll throw them into the mix as well. So this is something that I want to say it's kind of like with Marvel movies or certain like movie franchises. It's like as long as people are watching, we'll keep watching them. They'll keep making them. So you know we'll keep making these. So I really hope you guys are enjoying them.
You have any last thoughts for this subject?
So I want to say it does. I think it sucks. Simply put, I think it sucks that we still live in a society where there is, you know, like a stigma for collectors and geeks and nerds. Even in all of the other, like we mentioned dolls earlier, and can you imagine like for those people who are doll collectors, like how much more worse, because there's probably even fellow toy collectors who would look at people who collect dolls like, what, you know, they don't get it. And, you know, it sucks that it's just when it comes down to it, it's lack of understanding, or what's the word, and not lack of understanding, what's the word for, like, it's just people who don't accept whatever people are into. It's like when people will tell somebody like, oh, what, you're into that, that's dumb, you know. It's a matter of preference, you know. Nothing is actually really better than anything as far as this stuff goes. It's just about what you're into, and so just be what you're into, or be into what you're into, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, you know.
Yeah, I can feed off that. That's exactly kind of the same thing I was gonna say. Just continue collecting what you guys love, and if there's stuff that you want to letting go, to let that stuff go. But just don't let other people depict who you are, because you know, just be you. Just handle what you can handle.
Yeah, really. You know? Like it's really sad. Now that I think about it, now that you put it that way,
you know,
like when
all that judging and stigma, all I can tell you from my previous eye experiences, it's just noise, right? Don't worry about the noise.
Just put it this way, what these people think of you, especially if they're not family or friends, or you know they're really close, they have no actual impact on your life, you know. So who cares what they think? They have no real impact, and it sucks. I know in today's society, especially with younger people, there's a lot more people getting affected. And I think it's largely due to like social media and stuff. You know, bullying is like next level now. You know, back when we were kids, it was all pretty much just physical.
Yeah.
But now with all the stuff people could throw on the internet to you know, put people on blast and stuff like that, and you know the whole cyberbullying and stuff, and it's tough. You know, you can tell a kid today like, oh, just don't let it affect you, but it's kind of like, I know they just kind of gotta live it and hopefully outgrow it.
Yeah, I mean, any of your viewers, I mean, I don't know if Mock's open that, but if you guys ever have some type of situation like that, just you can reach out. You can ask for advice. I can try to help you out with stuff like that. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really good thing. If I haven't said that before, I mean, some of you who've watched my YouTube, some of you guys have been watching, and I've gotten several comments like fairly recently from people who've been watching my channel since they were kids, which is like
or listening right now.
Or listening. So like I that's awesome. I love hearing from you guys who've been listening kid. But like if you're a kid now watching this, really like hey, feel free to message me. You know I'm on here. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm always down to, I can always give my time to help somebody out if you ever wanted to talk about that stuff. And if you are going through some stuff, that sucks. That's really unfortunate. But don't think that there's no one that can help you. There's always someone. I don't know exactly who is in your life, but I'm sure there's someone in your life that can help you. Mm-hmm. And if you have no one else to turn to, dude, we're here, right? So, yeah, there you go. It sucks. The stigma sucks. It is what it is, but ultimately, kind of like a lot of things in life, it's like there's always going to be things in life that suck, things that are out of your control. Mm-hmm. We can't just fix everybody's brain who's ignorant about this stuff, but what we can do and what we have control over is how we let it affect us. Right. So. If anything, if I want to leave any kind of like advice on the matter, it's that, and I guess I said it right. It's like, who cares what those people think? But it's like, it's really, it does not matter, So don't let it affect you, because it is what it is. You can't change it. No amount of us talking about it, or even if we really put it out there, put a whole campaign out into the world to try to fix the minds, the opinions of these people who are ignorant and don't understand, it ain't gonna make a difference. We can't change that, but we can always change the way we let it affect us. Yeah. So, all right. Anything else you want to add, Dan?
I think we covered it.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, I guess, installment, of the podcast, so to speak. Stay tuned. Plenty more to come. We again, like I said, there was a lot of great suggestions in the video, the previous video. We'll be covering those topics, and between us, we've got other ideas plus topics, suggestions I've gotten from other friends and on Facebook and stuff. So. And I will always try to, I've got a horrible memory, but I will always try to give credit. Like if somebody gave me the idea for a topic, or like when I ask, like sometimes you'll mention somebody gave us, and I'll ask like who inspired you. Yeah. I'll always mention who it was, and especially when we start going over topics that were like you guys commented, we'll definitely give you guys credit for the idea. So there you guys have it. As always, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks, guys.